BYBIT. It is Blockchain coming at you with another Bitcoin technical analysis update. But first, if you are new to my channel, we are starting off at blockchaintratrading.com. The link is below. Make sure you guys jump on there and get my #1 trading strategy for free. Hit this little get in touch button, and I'll actually send you a video walkthrough of my #1 trading strategy that is consistent, profitable, reliable, and applicable to any market. If you also like any of the blockchain gear, you can get some here, and as well as the exclusive Discord where we're at $97 a month, but we're also doing a bonus 14-day trial for just $25. So if you don't want to commit to a full month, you can try it for a couple weeks and see what you guys think. I'm also doing the yearly discount at $5.97, and the big news, my Masterclass is officially on here as well. So it is currently at a $87 price point for a launch price, $210 off, because the prices will be going up. And then, of course, if you guys are just new and just need some trusted vendors, these are all ones I've personally used before in the past, and of course testimonials right down here on the bottom. So make sure you guys jump over and check that out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the charts here. So overall, looking at a higher time frame for a 16-hour, and actually a little bit of a pullback from when I had just looked at the price point. We were sitting at about 11.7, so a little bit of a pullback here. But let's see what we are looking at. So a couple different resistance zones and support zones. So you can see we had a big one right here that we were kind of dancing on. This was actually from my last video. Right at about 10,480, about 10,500, and we actually have another one right up here that we just tagged at about the 11.7 mark, that goes all the way back into 2000. Was that 2018, 2017, where we actually just tagged as well. So pretty interesting to see. We got a little bit of a pullback there as we tagged that. So things that I'm going to be looking for, and I'll dive into some smaller time frames, but some big pieces. Really looking at this piece right here as an ABC. I've also actually heard and actually seen a few accounts where this was actually could be looking at a wave 1 right here. So what I'm looking at for this guy is basically had your A, your B, and then right up here for a C. And I think it's pretty, we'll pull a Fib retracement here. Yeah, so that from the last one I was looking at, we're looking at the 1-to-1 extension right here at 11.5, potentially 11.6. But you can kind of see, we're kind of right in the middle of that. So it almost leaves me to believe with some confidence that we're going to hit the 1.236 at about 11.850. Let me throw a tag on that real quick. And then also do a couple smaller time frames as well and see what we look like there. I'm actually going to also do, of course, can't see it, Fib channel. Is this a Fib channel? I think it is. There we go. All right. Button that up a little bit. 11,680. Yeah, so actually got resistance right up here on the top of the Fib channel as well. So outside of this point right here from the trend line, I guess the horizontal trend line as well as the Fib resistance, that's the only thing that I really see is holding this thing back right here. From an Elliott wave perspective, I do really see this thing going up to 11.8, tag the 1.236, and what that would look like overall, I'd still be looking to have a continuation to the downside, where we have basically this as your A, your B, and then back down again for your C. And that could be a couple different places to tag towards the bottom. So if we say we have that 11,850 target, you could be looking at the 786, which is right here. You know, and we could also go all the way down to the 1.618. And so it's kind of a pretty big range in regards to areas in which we can hit, because I mean, you're talking about 7,600 to 10,000, so huge range right there technically for an ABC. What's most likely is really kind of that 1-to-1, which would put us about right here at about 9,300. And then let's go ahead and do a fib time zone as well. Probably about right there. And then, you know, from this time zone, you know, this looks like this would be our 1-2. This would be our third wave. We'd go into a fourth wave and then up again for a fifth, and we can technically go all the way up to 1.618, which is right back up here at the top. Basically 12.4 is really what we could go off of for this ABC right here. So ultimately, I'm looking to for Bitcoin to move up towards this 11.8 to potentially 12.4. You know, somewhere within this area. This is on a 16-hour time frame. So I mean, obviously, a lot of time between, based on the time fibs. You know, normally if this is your A wave, your B wave is about twice as long as your A wave, and then you have your C wave that comes back down. So, you know, if this is the case, I'd be looking at this as an impulsive wave here for your 1-2, just hit the third, kind of consolidate a little bit in here, and then up again for the fifth. And I mean, your fifth can really fall anywhere in between in here as well. So we'll kind of see what that looks like. We'll look at a couple smaller time frames as well and see what it can turn into. But ultimately, I'd then be looking for a C wave down, which would be another impulsive wave down, a 5-wave move, to come back down, test the 618, more than likely the 1-to-1. At about 9,800. Oops. That's not the 1-to-1. That's the 786. 1-to-1, 9,300 roughly, is what I'd be looking for it. Because there's no doubt about it, this is a 3-wave move, you know, right here. So I don't see any chance of this being a 5-wave move. You know, it does look very 3-wave. Yeah, basically boom, boom, boom for a 3-wave down. Another 3-wave move right here is B, and then would connect again to the downside before, you know, ultimately we could potentially take off again from there, but it's all about how we launch off from it. All right. Other indicators, I mean, definitely getting a little tired on the RSI CB index. You know, all that is getting a little top heavy, so it does need to cool off a little bit on a higher time frame. Let's look at the 4-hour real quick. Yeah, similar thing. I definitely have divergence here on the CB index, but you know, not 100% confirmed. That could have been a little bit of a pullback. We really barely have it on the RSI. And then let's take a look at, let's just look at the 1 hour here. Kind of see what we're doing. Actually, hold up. Go to the 12 hour. Sorry, guys. Yeah. All right. So what I was looking for is here on the RSI and the volume bands. Normally, whenever we poke out of the volume bands or shoot out of the volume bands like we did here, normally what happens is we come back in a little bit and then we get another kick up, and then that fails to break the volume band, and then that's when we continue our move to the downside. So a great example right here where we broke the volume band, came back in, and we kicked up again. You can see that was this little sweep up right here, where it's, we got that little kick and then went back down to the downside. However, we did still continue to carry to the upside after a little bit, but normally that's kind of the last little push before we start to cool off a little bit, and then we can look at some of the other oscillators. So yeah, 4 hour. Definitely got a little bit of a push up, so almost kind of looks like 4 hour didn't exactly cool down, but you can see we did bounce right on the top of the bullish control zone to stay in the bullish control zone here. So we'll kind of see what this little cool down looks like over the next little bit. Let's zoom in to the 15-minute here and see what kind of see if we can see anything as far as a wave perspective, but I mean, yeah, that's a pretty aggressive pullback from that little kick up. But you can see that on the CB index, that thing is already completely reset. And if you look at, between low point to where we're at now, that's setting itself up for some bullish divergence on that piece. So, something again to be aware of, but yeah, that was a pretty aggressive pullback from that last little pump up. So looks like it does need to cool off a little bit. This potentially overall, it's not exactly a pretty wave one. It almost even look like I'll actually start there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3 wave. And then go into a wave 4. And let's jump back to the 1 hour real quick. Let me get rid of a couple things. Let me get rid of that one, and let's get rid of that one. What I would like to do Yeah, that's what I thought. So what I was looking at is I was basically looking at a trend line right here potentially, and that would actually pretty interesting how those line up from a time perspective. So that's something I'd like to keep an eye on. But right here you can see there's the one-to-one extension of the fib channel. Right here at the 1.27. It's kind of where we could potentially kind of fall into this channel right here, establish a wave 4. We potentially can come back here to 11.3 for a wave 4, because wave 4 does tend to go into the wave 4 zone in the third wave. So we can potentially see it come back down to 11.350, 11.400, and then potentially launch up again from there. But let's see, yeah, October 22nd-ish, so give it a few days, October 20th, somewhere within there. But yeah, that's what I'm ultimately looking for, guys. Looking for potentially another last little kick up, and then ultimately connect that back down to the downside, to see another 5-wave move back down, which would then finish off this A, B, C correction that we have going on here. And ultimately that can give us another chance to, you know, kick off and go to higher highs and start looking at, you know, 15K, 20K, you know, somewhere around there. And that would, yeah, it would start be kind of, depending on how aggressive it comes down, you know, potentially looking at December-ish, within that time frame there. But ultimately, guys, that's what I'm looking for. Of course, if you like my channel, if you like the content, smash the likes, hit the little subscribe button, check out the website, ring that little bell, and stay tuned for more technical analysis updates.